All right. It is lights out and away we go. Hello, racers. Welcome to episode 39 of the Harder Soft F1 podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Huff, and I'm joined by my co-host, RJ McCullough. What's up, RJ?
Hello. I was going to make fun of your mustache again, but I already did that pre-recording, so I won't do that. However, I'm still slightly recovering from the beating you put on me last night in, let me finish my sentence here, in F1 22. We even raced my home race, and you still beat me. I came second, though, but then the first one I crashed. Second one, sorry, I crashed at Silverstone, and you won, I believe, that one as well, so at least we got something going for you.
Yeah, so we're like, that was like our 7th GP, and before that I had 7 points and you had none because we just kept crashing. So we just reduced the car damage and we killed it. I mean, we had a McLaren 1-2 at Canada. So, and yeah, we raced Silverstone in the wet. It was terrible, and it wasn't your fault. So, but yes,
never is.
Still rocking the mustache, me and Bottas, Christmas mustache. And hey, my girlfriend likes it, so I'm keeping it for now.
That's all that matters. As long as she's happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I guess it's a good time to say Merry Christmas to everyone. This is the last episode, I should say, before Christmas. So got a Christmas shirt here.
Hey. Oh my gosh. Yes. So. Merry Christmas. This next week will be just before New Year's, so I guess this is our Christmas themed
one more before
episode.
The New Year. This is our last Christmas one, so we will get into the F1 news unless you have any other topics you'd like to go over.
Not that I know of. I am gonna make a short. Well, I'm gonna redo our little intro audio for this episode, a little Christmas themed audio. So people would have already heard that by now. So.
Okay. Right. Yes.
So let's jump into it.
So when you think of F1, the season starting, what race do you think of? Because obviously it's bounced around historically, but Adrian Huff, what do you think?
Well, for now, I think Bahrain, of course, because that's where they started.
That's the one for me too. And a lot of people think like
Australia,
or because it used to be there. But it looks like it's going to be bouncing around a little bit over the next few years. So this is some of this is sort of news to me, some of it's not. But so obviously it's been in Bahrain for the last little while, but it's going to be in Bahrain this year. And then, so the Australian Grand Prix has extended its deal to keep hosting until 2037. And as part of that, they will also be hosting the season opener at least 4 times between next year and 2037. So we're going to get some Australia in the mix. But before that, in 2024, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is going to get the season opener out of respect for Ramadan, they say. Not going to pretend I know exactly what that means.
Right.
But yeah, so Saudi is getting the first race slot for 2024, and then Australia is getting a return 4 times between now and 2037, and then I guess Bahrain it's going to bounce around between the 3. So, what do you think of that?
I'm happy that we're going to definitely get some Australia openers, and it makes me optimistic that they may change the closer, so we're not stuck with Abu Dhabi forever.
That's a good point. That would be very nice. We have the start times. It's going to take me a sec because they're in UK time, so. Yeah, they announced the race times for next year. I'm going to have to go based off the Canada one to see what Eastern Standard Time is. Okay, Canadian Grand Prix, 2 o'clock, 19 o'clock, so it's 5 hours off. So, looks like Bahrain will be 10 a.m. I'm just going to go quick and try and figure out which ones are going to be weird times. Noon, 1 a.m. for Australia. We got an evening race, Miami. That makes sense. Okay. So yeah, most of them are pretty standard. Oh, Vegas. What's Vegas going to be?
Vegas should
1 a.m.
Be
1 a.m.
Eastern? Whoa.
1 a.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock local. Yeah.
A 10 p.m. race start. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be nuts. Everyone, all the junkies out there.
Dude, I'm going to get drunk. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
For the Vegas GP. Dude, maybe we'll be there. You never know.
Never
Some
know.
press passes. This is
Gonna try.
This is a little off topic. There's a very small chance he's listening to this, but a coworker of mine, he actually just left. He's moving. I'm not going to say where. He's moving out to the West Coast. He's planning on, if not attending the Vegas GP, at least being in Vegas. So I told him that we're trying to get press passes, so might do a little might do a little meet up out there. So just thought that was interesting because I did also tell him, I was like, good luck with the fucking cost of the tickets because we're probably going to be, if we don't get press passes, it ain't happening. You're going to have to scale the friggin' Caesar's Palace and just watch from the rooftop because otherwise it's not happening.
No, yeah, tickets are insane. Even we talked about it already, but the Montreal, we might have to just go spend the weekend in the city to get the vibe of the city, but not actually go to the race. We'll see, unless tickets drop, or we can go and try and get scalpers or something. But
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the tickets are getting nuts. Hopefully, I don't know. They're gonna have to either put more seats in, or maybe interest will drop off a little bit. I don't know. But the way it's going now, it's like, it's not really feasible for normal, quote unquote, normal people.
From Coda, the ticket prices from 2022 to 2022 to 2023 went up by, I think, over 40%, which is insane. From one year to the next. I mean, it's exciting that there's so many fans out there, but I mean, that is just a ridiculous. I mean, it's not feasible for the average fan. So hopefully they come up with more solutions to give people more of an opportunity to actually witness this sport live.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the F1 Junior Academy or whatever is going to be, if that'll even be something that's interesting to watch, or I don't know how old the people will be, but I don't know. There's got to be something more because there's obviously an interest. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But right now, it's not looking good for getting into the normal races, especially the US ones. The first one in the US is Miami, May 7th. Again, we'll try for press passes for that, and we at least have a place to stay, not too far away. My mom has a place in Naples, which I don't know. I'm guessing 2 hours. But whatever. That's another story for another day. But yeah, unless we can get press passes, long story short, it won't be gone.
It could happen.
It could happen. Another little piece of news, another poorly kept secret, but it was announced officially over this last week, is that Mick Schumacher has signed with Mercedes as the reserve driver. So
that's awesome.
We match your Daniel Ricciardo with our Mick Schumacher.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping for both their sakes, obviously without any bad happening, that they both get one race at least, even if they have to get loaned to another team to do it. But it'll be good to have them around. I think Mick's career definitely isn't over in F1, if you were asking me.
Absolutely not. I definitely think it's more likely Mick will have more of a chance to race in an F1 car again than Daniel, unfortunately. But again, you never know. I have big hopes for him, but it's tough. We'll see.
It's cool for him to go back to a team that his dad was on. Obviously, for being on Ferrari, but he did end his career with Mercedes. And obviously Mick would have been alive by then, but it would be cool to hear. I'm sure we'll hear quickly when they're interviewing them, if he has any memories of his dad being with Mercedes and stuff like that. So it's sort of a cool little reunion there.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that. We've got the Lewis, George, and Mick. That's the team next year. So that with Toto, apparently, I don't know if this is just lip service, but both Ferrari, so Leclerc from Ferrari and Verstappen, I believe, obviously from Red Bull, have both said that they, not even that they expect, just that Mercedes will be better next year. And then George Russell said it, but I don't really believe much that comes out of his mouth. So yeah, I say that all to say that things are shaping up with the team, looking good for next year. So my boys, I don't know. I've got some dirt on Christian Horner. I'm saving for a little later. That pretty despicable that you support this kind of human. But
can't wait to hear this.
Other thing, I don't know if I'm going to be able to espouse these negative opinions any longer about Christian Horner or anything to do with societal things, because F1, as this is my attempt to segue into the fact that F1 is, I believe, I don't know if I have an article up about it here, but they've placed basically a ban on political or religious statements or commentary, or not necessarily a ban, but you have to get like approval from the higher ups if you want to do like a Black Lives Matter shirt or something to support the environment. You sent me this article earlier today, right? Do you want to go over, like, I'm sure I missed some points there as I glossed over it.
I mean, I think it's obvious. The second Seb stepped out the door, they're like, all right, no more T-shirts, no more hats, no more helmets, no more rainbows, no more BLM, none of that.
What is this, the World Cup?
Yeah. I mean, hey, there's a lot of similarities between the FIA and FIFA.
I know.
So, but yeah, there's the biggest thing is like the ambiguity, because like Gasly, I actually I've never seen him do this ritual, but he does something that has to do with the cross. I don't know if it's like his necklace or if it's like a real cross. Like I don't know what it is, but he has some sort of ritual that has something to do with that. So people are like, are they gonna like potentially fine him for doing that, or not even fine him? Like apparently, as stated like in the article, he could potentially, if he was to get some sort of what's it called, like a write-up for that new rule, he could get a race ban, which is crazy. But I said this to you, I'm sure that this is just going to be, I'm sure the FIA is just going to backpedal, because I mean, Seb was, for sure I would say the biggest voice for like a lot of social issues, but you got guys like Lewis, and I don't think he's just gonna sort of stand aside while that happens. He's not gonna just not speak up when he wants to. So we'll see. It just seems like a big can of worms for no reason.
Yeah, to me it's shades of the jewelry situation from last year, and they're kind of just, like as you just said, opening a can of worms for themselves. Like I get the idea behind it. Like they want the racing to be the, like, what everyone's focusing on, which that, even as I said it, I was thinking in my head, like, well, that in itself is hypocritical, because they, just the things that they do and support are what often takes away. So it's not usually, like with Seb, it was often that he would like call out something in response to something. It wouldn't always just be, him putting his foot in the ground for no reason. So
right.
A lot of the times it's in response to something the FIA has done or not done. So, I mean, clearly, Lewis is going to at some point do something this year that's going to probably be in breach of this rule. But I did see that they added today that they can basically like apply to the FIA for approval, which in itself is kind of dumb. But I guess if you think of it in the context of other sports, like would like NBA or NFL players, would they have to like get a league approval to wear like a Black Lives Matter T-shirt into a game? Like, I don't know. I assume they have to get team approval. I don't know. So,
or like Neil.
Yeah, like that, exactly. So there's like precedents before. It's not like as black and white.
Yeah, I think it's like a team by team basis, which I mean, I don't know. I admittedly don't know a whole lot about like what the NFL exactly did in response to like Colin Kaepernick, but it just seems crazy to me, because like if you've ever watched the show Hard Knocks, there's been two instances with two different teams where one coach, was pretty much like, do what you want. If you feel the need to kneel, that's a tongue twister right there, then go for it. But then another season, you had the coach that was like, absolutely not. Like, there's no discussion about that. No one's kneeling. So I don't know. I think I understand in a very small aspect, but at the same time, it seems extremely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like they're putting oversight on something that doesn't necessarily need it. And also, these are could have just been one of those things that could have just been like kept behind closed doors. Like, I don't know why they need to announce this publicly.
Right.
Like, I'm sure they obviously have, like, they keep like an eye on how people appear or the message they're putting out, as they are like technically, I guess they work for the FAA, or you can make that like justification. So obviously they're like aware of if Lewis comes in wearing something. But I don't know why they need to make this a public thing. Like they're obviously not going to get a pat on the back for it. No one's looking at this like, oh, that's good, that's needed. But it is what it is. It's not, again, as you said, it's probably something that they're gonna, in the end, back down on and not really take a harsh stance, especially if it's like a Black Lives Matter thing with Lewis.
Right.
And Seb's out, so a lot of that's gone. Because he seemed to do it. He even did it in Canada. It was like a rightful cause. That was actually the picture that they used for the article, and it was like a rightful cause. It was like the Alberta oil stuff, I believe. I'm not all up on my Canadian politics, not gonna lie, but it's always for like a rightful cause. But then people pointing out like, well, you also have like a Ramco all over F1, so it's a little hypocritical.
Yeah.
So there's always like that balance. So I don't know. Probably won't end up being a thing, but hypocritical as the FAA always is. On a little bit of a brighter note, we have our first. It's good news, bad news. We have our first livery date announcement of the year, and livery season is always very exciting. I don't know why, but it's because when the year starts, like we really never talk about the liveries unless it's like a one-off special liveries. But I remember last year we were just so jacked up for every livery that got announced.
Yes.
It just really gets you into the year. I don't know what it is. It's just like exciting. So anyways, Aston Martin has become the first Formula One team to announce the launch date for their new car for the 2023 season. The team will present the AMR 23 on February 13th at the new facility it is building at its Silverstone base. The presentation will also be broadcast online. Pre-season testing is due to begin at the Bahrain International Circuit 10 days after Aston Martin's launch. So yes, we have a launch date, which is cool, but it's February 13th, and that's only 10 days before Bahrain. So realistically, that's probably going to be one of the last ones that's launched.
For sure. We're definitely going to see some teams come out of the gate sooner. I mean, I know when the season ended, we were a little disappointed, but that's pretty close. You got to think like they don't have a lot of turnaround time to get this next car like out there and ready. So props to all the teams. I'm so excited, even for Aston Martin. I just hope we get a nice crystal green from Lawrence Stroll.
Definitely one of the nicer looking cars. Fernando Alonso out there debuting. Maybe they'll go with more of a little. I mean, they did kind of the James Bond theme, but maybe a little, that green, maybe a little black in there. I don't know, something. But it's almost time to start getting excited about that. Speaking of starting to get excited, last week you gave us a little countdown on how many days it is to Bahrain. So if testing starts 10 days, so that'd be February 23rd, I'm guessing. If that's 10 days after February 13th, it'd either be the 22nd or 23rd. So give me a days count to February 23rd.
So we are around 65 days from the next season of F1, or the testing. 65 days.
That's nuts.
That's crazy. That's extremely soon.
When's the first race? Like March 1st or something?
Yeah, I think it's March. I think our first GP is March 3rd or 4th.
Okay, so we're well under 100 days then. I thought we were at like 104 days last week. I don't know what happened.
Less than 3. Well, that was to the first GP. I just did to the testing.
Oh, what are we now to the first GP? Wouldn't that be March 4th? That'd still be like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you do it. I don't know math. Not a math guy.
That's 74 days from now. So we'll be watching the next season in 74 days.
I love it.
Which still is not bad.
We'll be watching Lewis get back in the winning circle in 74 days.
And we'll be watching Verstappen come in with, I guess this is a good segue, one of the heftiest super license payments of all time.
Yes. I have the article. So I did not know any of this. This is all news to me. I think we talked about it last week or the week before, but we didn't talk about it on the show, I don't believe. So if we did, I apologize if we already talked about this. But so every driver has to pay a base fee of 10,400 euros for their super license, plus 2,100 euros per point scored in the past season. So with the record for points scored that he set last year, 454 of them. So 452 times 2,100 plus 10,400 euros is the math here. 963,400 euros. But it says in this chart 963,800. So I don't know who's wrong here, not me. But yeah, so basically $1 million just to drive a super license. I didn't know they had to pay to have a super license. I thought like you earn your super license.
It's got to be, I guess it's like actors that are in like the Screen Actors Guild having to pay their fees every month. That's insane. $1 million. I don't know, like I'm sure that goes towards like things like insurance and liability and stuff like that, but wow. I wonder if that, I mean, I'm sure like they have it negotiated to where Red Bull flips the bill for that. So
yeah,
so it doesn't come out of his contract.
Or maybe, yeah. Because I could see them wanting it to be out of the drivers, but guys like, I don't know. I'm trying to see who up there wouldn't have much money, but all those guys have a lot of money by now. Because guys like Logan Sargent, obviously he didn't have any F1 points last year, so he only has to pay the base 10,400.
Right. That's nice. God, what a contrast. That is fucking crazy.
That's nuts. So yeah, that's just more of like things I didn't know that they even have to pay. So
yeah, that's unbelievable.
Then again, it's not really gonna hurt Verstappen, but it's just.
Oh no, not at all. It's just an interesting statistic, I guess, or fact.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of we talked about last week was kind of breaking still as we were discussing or as we were recording last week. There's still more stuff coming out. So there's been, just to recap the team principal moves. So Fred Vasseur left Alfa Romeo, is joining Ferrari. McLaren, Andreas Seidel, I believe is. Yeah, Andreas Seidel left McLaren, and Andreas Stella is his replacement.
Yeah, Stella's at McLaren. I've got the little chart right here if you want me to just run through all the team principals. So as of right now, we don't know who will be the team principal for Williams or Alfa Romeo. Binotto, those are two open seats. Of course, Christian Horner, Red Bull, Toto Wolff, Mercedes, Tost, Alpha Tauri, Mike Crack, Aston Martin. Like you just said, Vasseur is going to Ferrari, Stella, McLaren. Otmar Szafnauer is sticking around at Alpine, and we still have Gunther at Haas. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a silly season between, of course, we discussed this last week, but Ferrari, McLaren, Williams, Alfa Romeo. It is quite crazy that even team principals can have a silly season.
Yeah, there's always something. And that made me curious, like how long team principals have been at each team. And there's an article, thankfully. So Horner is by far the longest. He's been with Red Bull he's been the team principal since 2005, which is pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Almost 20 years. And then, it's a little surprising, Franz Tost is second. He became the Alpha Tauri team principal in 2006.
Yep.
And then third, Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff, 2013. I thought he was longer. And then Gunther's fourth longest, 2014. And then it's 2022 is the most recent with Otmar, 2022.
Wow.
My boy Mike Crack. He hasn't gotten much pub lately, but Mike Crack still Aston Martin. And then they're all new pretty much. So not a very long tenured job.
No, not at all.
But
you're either there forever or you're gonna be out pretty quick.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like if you have success, you're there for a long, long time until you don't, and then you're gone real quick. So it's tough.
Speaking of team principals, I know we've got it listed here. Otmar is still salty about Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
Do you have the quote that he said?
Yeah, so I have like the short version of the quote. I don't know the full one. I can look for it or just put it in. But basically, how do you pronounce his name?
Otmar Szafnauer, or something like that. All right.
So he says he does not forget the chaos with Piastri and, quote, Selfish people perish.
Oh my God. I mean,
come on.
you know what? You know what else was selfish was not committing to a long-term contract with Oscar, and also not having good enough lawyers to keep him locked down either. So, sucks to suck, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess you can make the case it was selfish because it's doing this better for his career. That is technically selfish, but
yeah,
everyone
is.
I don't
selfish.
think anyone's holding it against. Like, it would be dumb for him not to be in that situation. So.
Mm-hmm. What will be crazy though is if somehow Alpine put together a car that actually can make it to the finish line, and Gasly and Ocon are able to do better than Oscar and Lando. I don't think that's going to happen, but I just think it would be pretty wild if it did.
Well, let's find out what you do think is going to happen, because we're on to our second segment of 2023 driver ranking predictions. So basically trying to predict the 2023 standings. So last week we did 20 to 16. This week we are 15 to 11. So why don't you lead us off with 15, or do you need me to explain the amount of drivers on the grid again?
No. We're we're good to go. I'm for sure locked in on what we're doing this time. Yes. Starting off, my first pick is Zhou Guanyu for number 15.
Okay, and mine is a guy you already took, Nico Hulkenberg.
Ooh.
My first HOS.
Do you want me to type these down?
Sure. Yeah, may as well. And then my number 14, sorry to do it to him as the only Canadian left on the grid, but Lance Stroll, I believe, will finish 14th next season.
Oof. Lance Stroll. I am still typing this down, but I also had Lance Stroll for number 14 because I believe he finished 15 this season. So we're technically doing him a favor by putting him at 14.
Yeah, slight improvement. If he keeps doing that, you never know. 10 years from now, look out.
Oh my God, a Stroll world champion. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Right,
the amount of things that have to happen for that. So I think I just did 2 in a row. So you go next, 13. You go.
Okay. So I was a little torn between 2 drivers, and I won't say exactly who the next one is because that'll spoil my next pick. But this choice is going to be Kevin Magnussen.
Okay. Yeah, I agree that this is where it started to get tough.
It is for sure. It's not that I don't have faith in Magnussen; it's that I don't necessarily have faith in Haas.
Yeah, same. Like, I had all the drivers written down, and I was like, once I got past Stroll, I was like, ooh, yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I also had Kevin Magnussen here. So on to number 12.
Nice.
You're not gonna like this one, but I think this is more of a detriment on the car, not the driver. This is Valtteri Bottas for me. Your doppelganger of sorts.
So my second pick is going to be Esteban Ocon.
Esty Bestie.
Yes, Esty.
Oh, no.
Only because I just don't have a whole lot of faith in him personally. And I feel like him and Gasly are going to really butt heads this season.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
It will. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. This is also going to be very handy when we do our draft to see who each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I need to start taking some notes.
I should have kept that thought to myself.
In 2 weeks from now is when it's really going to matter. When we see our top 5, that's really what's going to click.
Yeah, I was going through that today, and I was like, ooh. I think I know my top 3, but 4, 5, 6 is very much up for debate still in my head. But why don't you go ahead and give me your number 11? Finish this off.
Oof. So this one I don't think it's extremely surprising because it's between arguably a better car, but an amazing veteran. So number 11 will be Pierre Gasly.
Okay. So you have the Frenchmen coming in.
Yes.
11 and 12. Just outside the... They'll be fighting for points every week, basically. I had a guy at number 11 that I hope he does better, but have to keep in mind it's a steep learning curve in F1. I have Oscar Piastri, number 11.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to see him do better, but it gets really tight between 11. So I had to, unfortunately, put the rookie sensation number 11. So
that's a little shocking. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's good. I like keep you on your toes. Which brings me to my next point. I have two things of Christian Horner. The first, I'm going to put them both in the video. Now, the first one I sent you earlier this week, and it's a picture of Christian naked.
Yeah.
Picture of Christian naked on a car with a massive Russian logo and letters. Looks like it's some sort of profile that he did 20 years ago, many years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But that's the guy that you root for. Now the second one is one that we've both seen before, but I'm going to put it in because I came across it again this week, and I'm going to put it right in the notes where underneath you'll see it pop up in a second.
I see.
Now I'm going to put also the video in the video here so people can watch at the same time as you. This is just an all-time comeback. And we also get to see our friend Bernie Ecclestone in there looking like he's about to drop dead. No offense. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and watch that for me real quick.
Okay.
About 25 seconds long.
Yeah, I'll start from the beginning. I'll cue it up so you can watch it at the same time as the viewers. 3, 2, 1, click.
Certainly do. And Christian, can you take it to Mercedes? We've seen Rosberg's had a problem, but he's out now onto the grid. It's some kind of clutch or steering wheel problem. Your car's running fine?
Yeah, hopefully we can be right up there. It's just a shame you're too old to have driven here, really.
I am too old to have driven here, but...
you would have liked it.
Yeah, shame you wasn't fast enough to get to Formula 1, but...
Hold up. Hey, for my niggas who be thinking we soft, we don't.
That full clip, I think, but I think he finishes it with but you found a way anyways, or something like that. It's like so good.
I know. Oh, I know. I was looking for it. Like that was the longest one I could find because most of them are way shorter than that. It's just the you would have loved to hear, but what a comeback.
That is a legendary clip, and a lot of people hate him for that reason. But like that little smile he gives before he like gives that jab at Brundle is just like so Christian Horner.
That is
it's
exactly.
Such, like,
it's so
yeah,
Christian.
it is. It's like okay.
Love him or hate him, like that's and like if you literally look at from the outside, not knowing F1 or whatever, it is like objectively an asshole thing to say, but obviously it's just banter.
So,
just boys being boys.
Exactly.
There's another thing I saw on social this week. Not as like laugh out loud funny, but I thought that the person that made this pretty much nailed it. It was one of those like tiered list things, F1 related, and the topic was, can I copy your homework? Like what each F1 driver. So it's tiered into what.
I know what you're talking about.
I'll put the link in there so you can follow along with me. There you go. So, from the top, can I copy your homework? Guys, I would say I'll help you with it. Alex Albon, Sebastian Vettel, Nicholas Latifi, and Mick Schumacher. I would agree with that. And the guys would say, yeah, sure. Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, Charles Leclerc. The guys I would say, bold of you to assume I did the homework, would be Kevin Magnussen, Fernando Alonso, and Carlos Sainz. Guys I would say, I don't really know how you would say LOL, but LOL nope would be Max, Lewis, and Ocon. I disagree with that portrayal of Lewis, but I'm going to let it slide for a sec. The guys I would say, wait, we had homework, would be Checo, Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Daniel Ricciardo. I don't know if Checo would, but definitely Yuki and Ricciardo is so
100%.
And then the last one, sorry, just real quick, the last one is why I brought up this whole thing. Yep. The one guy that would just leave it on red is George Russell. He wouldn't even respond.
Yeah, he is 100% a leave you on red type of guy.
Yeah.
I can see Lando on the way we had homework tile.
Yeah, like I could swap Lando and Checo because I think Checo would be he'd help you out.
I could see that for sure.
So yeah, there's a little
Quality.
F1 meme for the people.
Quality.
Got to fill some time here in the off season. So that's pretty much it for F1 content. Although I have one more question. You watched the World Cup final.
Yes.
Most people in the world. Apparently, I heard someone say today. I don't believe this number because I didn't see it. Someone said 4 billion people watch. I don't believe that because that's like half the world's population.
No way.
I don't think there's that many TVs in the world. But anyways, unbelievable. One of the best. Anyways, we don't have to go into how good it was because everyone's already covered that. But
Yes.
considering how good it was and it delivered on like such a world stage for like two powerhouses, blah blah blah. What do you think would be the equivalent for F1 to have that like big their final race or whatever pay off? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as far as like hype and stakes and just like,
Like
back
paying
and
off the hype. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about paying off the hype, but I mean,
I know where you're
Abu Dhabi 2021 so far for sure, as far as like just unbelievable, like, I mean, you just would never, like, it's just one of those games or races where you couldn't write something more crazy or more interesting because it wouldn't be as good. It was amazing. I mean, I was posting on my Instagram story just being like, when it was 2-0, just be like, fuck yeah, it's over. Just being like, I was like, oh shit. So yeah, it's been covered obviously to death, but absolutely astounding game, and I can't wait to be a fan of soccer again in 4 years. So
I know, I'm the same. I love watching it during the World Cup and the Euros even because my second team is the Netherlands. But yeah, it's kind of, I've tried so many times to get into it and it just isn't there for me. But I've watched a show. Obviously, I've watched Ted Lasso. I've also watched, there's a newer one that's like real life Ted Lasso called like Welcome to Wrexham or something like that. It's like the soccer team that Ryan Reynolds bought. And that's really cool. It's like they're in like a much lower league, but they're trying to put some money in and build it up. So that's cool. But I was thinking about what the F1 equivalent would be. I think it would have to be, because not only did you have like two of the biggest teams, you also obviously had the two biggest stars kind of going at it at their top form. So I think it would have to be like sort of like we saw in Abu Dhabi with Lewis and Max going down to the final race, while also Red Bull and Ferrari, or sorry, Red Bull and Mercedes, and even maybe Ferrari were all in the mix in the final race, having a chance to win, because like it was just everything you could possibly want. Like it was
100%.
Whereas Abu Dhabi last year, just a travesty.
Yeah.
So
can't disagree with you.
Yeah. So that, as we mentioned off the top, this is our last episode before Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Hope everyone that's listening is okay with us saying Merry Christmas, because we're going to say it anyways. Any other thoughts before we have officially launched our Facebook page. So
yes,
if you have a Facebook and you listen to this, how would someone find that? I'm not a big Facebook guy. I guess you go to pages and you search Harder Soft F1.
Yeah, Harder Soft F1 podcast, and we will link it below in our description, of course. And we also now have our video feed on Spotify. So not only can you watch the video on YouTube, but you can watch on Spotify as well if you're on Wi-Fi. So give that a watch or a listen. We're on Apple Podcast, and our podium, we're doing that next week, right? We're not doing that this week.
Yeah, we'll do that when we have like a quiet week.
Okay, I've already got my top 3, but yeah, we can save that. So yeah, is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, just as always, please like and subscribe. Follow us on all our socials: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. If you want to give us feedback or anything, feel free to reach out. Let us know. Merry Christmas. Adrian, send us off.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for watching.